Hello, and thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this short presentation. I do hope you're safe and well, and that those that you care about are also safe and well. I want to talk to you about how we help each other keep safe in school. Schools are tough places to be at the moment, and you are on the front line, really, of helping society find its way through a difficult winter. In days gone by, I might have used the phrase that we need to care enough to challenge enough when it comes to improving student outcomes and looking after safeguarding matters and things like that. Today, I think I'm saying we need to care to challenge each other enough to do the right things to make our schools as safe as they can possibly be by all following the rules. So I have written a letter that will be coming out to schools, and for the rest of this short presentation, I'd just like to go through some of the key points in the letter. I'm going to share my screen now so I can do that with you. Okay, so I won't be going through it word for word, but just to flag some of the key messages I'd like all of us to take on board as we try and steer our way towards what hopefully will be a happier and more optimistic spring. Firstly, I hope it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, a huge thank you for your commitment and your ongoing professionalism. It has been extremely impressive, and I am eternally grateful for the efforts that you're all making to keep our schools working. And that's so important because actually so many of the children who come to our schools need you. They need you to be part of their routine. They need you to be part of their circle of friendship and security. And without you, their world is incomplete and in many cases chaotic. But in order to be there to help our students, we need to look after each other. So the remainder of this is really a plea for us to remember and follow the COVID guidance that we've put in place. And if there are things that you think we could do to improve it, to let us know. Just moving on to the section, therefore, looking after yourselves and others. I would just ask everybody to make sure that they do touch base with their line manager as well as the friends they have in school. Just let them know how you are, let them know anything else that they could be doing for you. And of course, both you and they should remember that the Trust has bought into a service called Health Assured, which has many resources to help people through what are stressful times for us all. So please do check out the Health Assured link that is in the letter. We also want to make sure that we are listening, and I will shortly be writing to everybody with a wellbeing feedback form, seeking your ideas on things that we could do to improve even further how we look after people in school. I have to say it would have been absolutely wonderful to give everybody a little extra time off, as Leighton suggested earlier this term, but right now it simply isn't possible with the public health situation as it is. Most certainly, as part of the wellbeing exercise, we'll revisit this idea and take on board any other suggestions you might want to make. I'd just like to mention self-isolation quickly, because if you are isolating but not ill, please remember that you really can still do your bit to help colleagues in school. And I encourage both your school and you to work together to make sure that that time is productively spent, if at all possible. Probably the most complex area for us at the moment is around holding meetings and deciding which visitors to allow into school. Having discussed this in some detail with principals, we've come to the conclusion that ideally meetings should not take place face to face with those outside of your own professional bubble. The real reason for this is that we can absolutely minimise the risk of staff being asked to self-isolate through being inadvertent close contacts. And that is a key area in which we need to focus in order to keep our schools operating. Your school can work with you to define which meetings they believe to be necessary face-to-face, and the bullet points below include some of the examples where perhaps we would or wouldn't do that. So maybe not meeting parents face to face except when there is an urgent matter or it's a safeguarding concern that needs to be addressed, but understanding that, for example, SLT meetings and other operational meetings of teams in school do need to take place. Of course, some external visitors really do need to still come onto site, providing all the necessary precautions are being taken, and they would include trust colleagues who have different roles to fulfil, and perhaps external special needs professionals, peripatetic teachers, and indeed any teaching and support staff who are shared between schools within our own trust. One way we can really try to drive down the risk of transmission is by ensuring that we stick to the rules around room occupancy levels and social distancing. We're reminding all schools that they should now be showing maximum adult occupancy numbers on the doors of all rooms, and this should help us all do the right thing. I know it's difficult when it comes to movement around the school to keep within bubbles at all times, but please remember that if you are unable to do that, or you have to cross from one bubble to another for some reason, please adhere to the sanitising regime. It is absolutely the key measure to help avoid transmission between different groups of adults and students. On ventilation, recent government guidance has said that we need to keep some windows ajar throughout the day so there's a slight flow and trickle of air, and then open the windows fully for a few minutes 3 times a day. Of course, that sensibly looks like the beginning, the middle and the end of the day to completely refresh the air in the room. Now, if that means that rooms are slightly chilly, of course, we will be happy for all adults and children to keep on appropriate clothing until such time as the room has warmed up. So finally, to wrap this up, I just do want to emphasise this is not a complaint. In fact, I do feel a little guilty sending this letter. I don't want anyone to see it as a criticism or a complaint about what you've done so far. You're doing a fantastic job, but in order to be able to continue doing that job, we all need to be ultra vigilant at all times. Please accept my very best wishes to you and your loved ones, and stay safe. Thank you.